So I'd like to make a statement here. Dealing with this the unexpected questions and controversy surrounding my NCAA eligibility has been one of the most difficult experiences of my life. I still do not understand everything that has happened to me in this process or why it has happened at all, but I appreciate the support of my teammates, coaches, and the university have shown me through this whole ordeal. The NCAA's appeal decision, which reduced the withholding penalty assessed against me, allows me to move forward with my character, reputation, and integrity intact. And while I'm still disappointed and frustrated that any penalty was imposed, I have considered my options carefully and do not wish to create a continuing distraction for my team or prolong this matter further. My goal is not to turn the situation into any kind of adversity that my team would have to overcome. Therefore, I am choosing to move forward, put all of my energy and focus into being the best student athlete I can be, prepare myself to rejoin my teammates competing on the ice as soon as possible. Growing up in California and playing youth hockey, I always looked up to the older players from the area. Most signed to play in the major junior league up north, the WHL, but many made commitments to colleges. Those guys, like Brett Beebe, Garrett Haar, Troy Power, Adam Reed, and Rocco Grimaldi, to name a few, showed my family and me another option, a chance to play high-level hockey and still continue with earning a degree. That is why I'm here at Wisconsin, to be the best student athlete I can be and to work toward my degree at an amazing university. It is my turn to be a role model for young hockey players in California and the West Coast. I take that responsibility very seriously and would be devastated to see any of them change their path from college route to the major junior just because of the adversity I faced during the first few weeks as a student athlete. I still want to be that role model for California and West Coast hockey players, and I want to encourage them to understand and consider going the college route. I will pursue that goal by staying here at the University of Wisconsin, by serving a penalty that remains enormously difficult to accept, and by representing my university as a true student athlete. I've loved every second of my first couple of months here, even with all this stuff going on. I truly believe that I am meant to be here and meant to continue pursuing my ultimate goal of playing in the NHL. I am so glad to be able to call myself a Badger and to continue doing so. I want to again thank my teammates, coaches, and the university staff for all their assistance and support, and I look forward to seeing you on the ice very soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. We've got about 10 minutes, so we'll have to take questions for either Coach Eves or Nick. Back here, Ben.
Mike, that's a premature statement from a freshman. Can you just talk about how Nick has, from what you've seen, just kind of persevered through this process, which obviously has been really difficult for both you and him?
It has been an interesting process, to say the least, and every once in a while you have a true freshman come in who is beyond his years in emotional and mental state, and Nick is one of those young people. I think it speaks to his upbringing with his mom and dad. This has been difficult for them as well to understand, but they've kept cool heads, and the upbringing that Nick has had has certainly helped him get through these tough times. There's no question about that.
Andy in the back.
Mike, could you detail the complaint that the NCAA had with Nick and what the basis of the appeal was about?
No, Andy, I'm not going to get into that. I think that Walter Dickey's statement was the statement that I'm going to lean on here. We don't need to get into that. I feel that we're going to put this behind us and move forward.
Brian, on the right.
Nick, was there ever a doubt that you'd remain with the Badgers? Ever a doubt?
I'll be honest with you. No, there's never a doubt. I mean, you guys know this pretty well. This campus is amazing, facilities unbelievable, great coaching staff, great teammates. It was really an easy decision for my family and I, and I'm just looking forward to getting back on that ice and rejoining my teammates, and that's going to be November 30th, and I promise you I have that date circled on my calendar right now.
Nick, what was as you went through the past month plus, or what was the toughest part of this whole process and going through it for you personally?
I think it was just the uncertainty, and also just my family going through it. It's not great that my family got pulled into this, and they've been amazing through this whole process. And again, like I said, the uncertainty of where I was going to play and what was going to happen. So those two things, I'd say.
Andy, all the way in the back.
Mike, what's your greatest source of frustration about this particular episode?
Well, my greatest source of frustration has been dealing with Nick and trying to see how he's handling it. It's sometimes in life things aren't rational and not fair, and trying to have a young man understand what he's done supposedly wrong, and just making sure that he kept his head on straight and not waffle. We talked, you know, if anything, one of the benefits of this is getting to know Nick and his family better, and knowing that if we could push through this incident, that we would be a lot closer, and we are a lot closer because of it. I think it's brought his teammates closer to him, but just making sure that we were keeping our heads on straight and moving forward in the right direction, and then controlling what we can.
Brian again.
Mike, hockey is a unique sport at the college level. Are you fearful at all that instances like this may continue to arise in the sport?
Well, I'm sure that because of Nick's situation here, that there's going to be a lot of attention to detail with the hockey players coming into college hockey and the situation with family advisors. There's no question. I think that Nick's case was in some instances a test case for family advisors and young college hockey players, so I think there's going to be a lot of attention given to what's going on, and people are going to have to make sure they're dotting their I's and crossing their T's correctly when dealing with family advisors.
Andy, ahead.
Mike, to what degree has this been a disruption inside your dressing room?
You know, I think for inside our locker room, and maybe Nick could address this because he's inside there, but it seemed to us that we as the coaches and we as administrators were like a duck on water. We looked pretty calm on the surface, but underneath the water, the administration, coaching staff was working pretty hard to stay up on what was going on. Our administration did an outstanding job. Katie Smith, you know, I had a chance to get to know her a lot better through this process. She was outstanding. Walter Dickey, I mean, all our people were right there, and a great source of resources and information for Nick to help him get through this time. So I don't think it was that big a distraction. In the locker room, Nick, maybe you could address that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, not at all. Like I said, I got a great group of teammates here, and they've been behind me since day one that this thing has been blowing up, and you know, that's what made my decision a lot easier. Like I said, great group of guys, and they've had my back the whole time, and I'm very fortunate for that.
Ben on the left.
Mike, when Nick comes back, what's he going to add to your lineup?
Well, we hope a lot of goals. Nick's innate ability range from his ability to play at a high pace and be a very power forward and be able to put the puck in the net. So right now I kind of look at it, you know, Nick's got an injury right now and he's out of our lineup, and now we have to have the other young men step up and do his part, but when he gets in there, we'll have an impact player back in our lineup.
Andy again in the back.
Nick, what's the prevailing lesson for you from this? 10 years from now, somebody's going to ask you about this. What's the thing you learned most?
That's a tough question to answer. I've learned a lot through this. My family and I, we believed the whole time we were following the rules, and still truly do believe we did. You know, it's one thing that Coach here taught me. Is you can only, you know, control what you can control, and I've been doing exactly that, and I feel that some of these things are out of my control, and that's just how it is, and I had to live with that, and whatever I could control, I'm doing. So right now all I'm going to do is control, you know, my strength, and get bigger in the weight room, and worry about that stuff. But other than that, really, there's nothing else.
Nick, did this detract from your ability to practice? Did it detract from your ability to be a student? Did you find yourself drifting off, kind of caught up in all of this, and maybe not be able to give all you wanted to the process of being a student athlete here?
I don't think so. Just the way I was brought up, and I think I have a good work ethic, and I compete hard. And whether that's, not really getting as many reps as I should have, or I think Coach did a great job of giving me all the reps I could have in the situation I was in, and that didn't change my work ethic or my compete level. I went out there and practiced, worked hard. I've been on the ice almost every day now. Even yesterday, I'm doing extra things that I can to get better and to be ready when time comes. Academically, I've always been a good student, I believe. I focused on getting my homework done, preparing for tests, so it was in the back of my head, but other than that, I still focused and did well in school, and still am doing well in school.